There we go. And here we go. Hello, thieves, and welcome back to Conan, Age Undreamed of. I was muted in Zoom, but I was not for everybody else, I don't believe. So as we get back into this, the tales of high adventure and our thieves, let's go around and reacquaint ourselves with the thieves that we currently have. I will then tell you how old Conan is, and if you're playing the home version of the game, you'll be able to know where this falls in line with some of the other tales. If you don't care about the other tales, don't worry. This one can stand alone as a tale unto itself. But first, let's go forward to go back, or back to go forward, as this is one that is inside a time continuum that we jump around quite a bit, just like Robert E. Howard did. But let's go up to Ozzy. Ozzy, how are you doing today, my friend?
I'm really good. I'm excited to play Conan again, and I will be playing the amazing Zafar, who is a merchant and alchemist from Zamora. He's big, he's tall, he has a huge beard and an even bigger turban, and that's probably tells you anything you need to know about him.
Excellent, excellent. The man with the turban and the beard, and that's it. He is just the face of the amazing Zafar. We'll see about that as we get into this a little bit more. Let's drop straight down to Emma. Emma, how are you doing today?
I am great, Greg. I'm happy to be here and be reprising, not reprieving. There is no reprieve for Zerga. She is a completely normal and benevolent mystery cultist who can take drugs and get naked and commune with the dream world, as you do, on a Friday afternoon. Super excited to be playing this person who is totally fine and not evil, for sure.
It all sounds right. It all makes
right?
sense. It all fits. It all seems like it's exactly where it's going. So, good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. It's a Good Friday.
Good Friday.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of Good Fridays, let's drop down to Ethan. Ethan, how are you doing today, my friend?
Hello. Doing pretty good. I'm playing Kesar, the very, very tired scholar, who also might have wolf powers, as we found out last time, by summoning wolves from his brain.
I mean, we're not going to point fingers or anything. I mean, this is Conan. There's things that there's quirks. Everyone has quirks. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I mean, he's tired, and they're the wolves thing. They jump out of his brains and thoughts.
Brain.
I mean,
but
that's just right. Awesome, buddy. Glad to have you. As we're going to hop all the way across the screen to my man Slack. Slack, how are you? And please tell us who you'll be playing.
What's happening, everybody? My name is Slack, Mark Slack, and it's great to be back again. And once again, I will be bringing you the mighty Schwa. Schwa is much less mighty than he appears, but he thinks that he's super strong and invulnerable. He is wrong. He is 4 feet tall and full of personality and bravery, fights acrobatically with a fantastic spear, and thinks very highly of himself and his companions. So excited to be here. Let's play some game.
Nice. And even though that description of Schwa is over the top, it pales in comparison to the actual character of Schwa. So buckle up, everybody. As we then drop to the shadow with teeth, as we climb up to Steve. Steve, how are you doing today, my friend, my brother, and who will you be playing?
I am playing Pal Trelato. I'm doing well, thank you. First, I'll say that as well. I'm playing Pal Trelato. He is I don't know how to put it, but somebody who does not want to be known, does not want to help people, does not want to do anything of value other than for himself and to himself. He's also a very dexterous, I guess you would say, person who can live in the shadows, and he is always ready to go, and we'll see what goes down here off the bat.
Fantastic. So as you can see, we have a bunch of lovely individuals. everyone here a fantastic role model for the now 16-year-old Conan who is traveling with them. If you're joining us for the first time, this is the story of how Conan learned all of those interesting tricks and trades that he performs in the later stories of Robert E. Howard. So without further ado, let's give everybody a timestamp, and we were going to jump right into the action, as this is the season finale of Conan Age Undreamed Of. And so we are going to get into this one. It'll probably take us 2 sessions to finish it, but this is the season finale of our first, hopefully one of many seasons of Conan Age Undreamed Of. But this is the one that sets up, like it should, the stories to follow. So before we go in, here's where we are. Conan is 16 years old. If you've been watching the other episodes, this takes place after the first time we saw this group, the Way of Teeth. It's only been about 10 weeks since that adventure, and the money that was to be earned has been given a bit, but there's promises made that it will be given and delivered to this group in due time. So the group has stayed close to the area, but right now they are a little bit north in Aquilonia, in the city of Tarantia. It is colder. It's slipping into the autumn time for the majority of the valley in the kingdoms, but here in the foothills of the mountains, the snow is starting to blow, and we are in a city. And with anybody that is once of the Modifius 2D20 system, there is a bit of a mechanic called carousing. And carousing, what does a group that trains a barbarian, the future king of Aquilonia, who wears his crown upon a troubled brow, what do they do in their downtime? And so with any good story, whether it be Modifius's 2D20, Dungeons and Dragons, Call of Cthulhu, let's start off by throwing back a couple drinks as we dip into this adventure, as everyone that was just mentioned is sitting within the Dragon Spit Bar. And as they are sitting there, it is high time of the evening. As the drinks are flowing, the band is playing, the crowd is talking, and so are our heroes, as Conan is sipping through perhaps his 3rd mug of beer, and his eyes are getting a bit glassy as the boy is now he's grown much taller, much broader, his hair much longer. He is beginning to look like the man that he will become, and where he used to wear the long sleeves of a peasant, of a tinkerer's son, he is now given away to a sleeveless look as his arms are corded with muscle, and you can only imagine that as he progresses, so too will the subtraction of his clothes become. But that's Conan's story for the future. Now it is the Thieves' turn. So Thieves, I turn it over to you. You have a tavern unto yourself. What would you like to do, and how would you like to do it?
Hal wants to gamble. Is there gambling going on, like cards and like anything that would be of a gambling nature?
Well, as this is a tavern known more for power drinking, there aren't any tables that are set up because tables can be broken. But you do notice that over in the corner of the bar, there's a large group of large and decidedly slick men, and not slick as in that they're very accomplished with their words. They're just simply oily, as it looks like they have been doing this for quite some time. They are maybe have just come from work or some type of labor activity, or they are just slick with the proximity of being around fellow slick people. And they are rolling bones against the corner over there as coin is exchanging hands, and the dice are telling the tale both in that story and ours.
Well, he would definitely go and approach them. And as he would walk by somebody, I just want to try this. I want to pickpocket somebody real bad. He would probably eyeball somebody that he thinks has money who is really drunk. And he would go up and try to swipe a purse if he sees one hanging or something.
Sure, give me a little bit of that thievery.
soon as I find her, there she is.
Fantastic. And that is actually 3 successes, as you'll give us the first momentum of the game. I will drop it in there, but I will be more cautious of it, as each scene will see a reduction of momentum as well if it's not used. Yeah, you're able to swipe a whole purse as you walk by. And you can think that if there's gambling in your future, pal, why use your own money when it seems that you have just acquired enough to seed yourself in this endeavor?
He throws the bag right on the table with the bones. He says, I'm up next, you fucking pigs.
All of the slick fucking pigs turn around and look as the bag kind of hits the nearest kind of half table. And they look, stop for a moment, pick up the dice, scoop up the winnings as somebody has just won, and they kind of present this dusty, almost equally greasy area and stretch of floor to you, as they like the size of your gold bag. It's a good thing nobody recognizes it as somebody that is a patron of the bar, but they don't because they're drunk and slick. So what I want from you is go ahead and give me another thievery roll here, because
can he try to cheat a little bit on this, because he's got
I anticipated what you were going to say. And
yeah, you know me well.
I wanted to go ahead and give you the thievery and let you know that you do have the 2 momentum you've just generated. You can use those for additional D20s if you'd like to really kind of...
Yeah.
Okay, you can use it 1 for 1, but you don't have enough for 2. So you can use 1 and then have 1 left over.
I'll just use
Sound
one,
good?
leave one for somebody. Yep, leave one, give somebody else one. There we go. And I created another one, maybe. I don't know.
You did. Yeah. So it comes right back as its name would dictate. Momentum begets momentum, and the dice and the found money. There's only 2 things that are quite as sweet. It's money found and money won, and you're playing with one and doing the other. So, pal, you are. I mean, are you drinking? Are you? Is this?
Yeah,
this...
he's getting kind of like he's going to. But he's like, watch this, fuckers, and that's how he kind of slips the dice. So he goes like that with his hand, and like he has his own special load of dice that he slaps, and boom, whatever he hits.
Okay.
And he's kind of taunting him now. Now he's kind of like, he's probably getting a little arrogant with him. He's like, see, I got you.
Okay. Well, these slick men, these pigs, none of them seem to be especially brave. They're irritated, but they're not irritated enough to draw any type of metal. Back at the table where you all had kind of been one of the few that you all had kind of gathered around, Conan is kind of standing up and drinking and looking down to see what Pal's doing, and he turns around and goes, oh, did you see that? The fucking dogs, he's got them already. And he's sitting there and he's drinking. He's obviously, I mean, he's got a decent constitution for a boy his size, but he's still only 16 as he drops the metal tankard to the ground, and he's going to take them all. And he's just sitting there, and what is everyone else doing?
Well, Zafar is trying to convince Conan of the finer things in life, and he should, let go of the beer and instead, choose wine, because it's a much more sophisticated drink, a much more elegant drink, and you need to be a little more careful with it because it's stronger, but the pleasure it gives you it lasts longer.
It lasts longer, yeah. And so he will try a glass of
But
wine.
Don't mix it. Either drink one or the other, but never after one another.
Don't mix them in the same. Just
Yeah,
I'll
you can
drink
have wine after beer, but not the other way around.
I feel there should be some type of like rhyme for this, like something before beer, never fear.
Very good.
I'll work on it. We'll think about it. Yeah, so he's sitting there and he'll drink with you, and you do notice that, much like the accumulated knowledge of Conan himself, he carries a weather-bound, split, hard and shiny in places, a leather journal that has paper sticking out of it. It's very unbecoming of a 16-year-old boy that seems to be enamored with swords and drinking, and he's a teenager, but he's also sitting there, and for a moment he kind of slips into a different mindset as he sits and sips the wine, not trying to guzzle it or get through it quickly, taking the words of Zafar to heart as he kind of errantly looks at the journal and opens a couple of the pages, remembers teachings of the past, and he puts down a little something about wine.
And if you drink this, Zafar holds up a little vial. Before that, you will never have a sore head on the day after.
You should have told me this like an hour ago.
Well, that's part of the of my teachings.
Failure?
If we do the same thing tomorrow, you will see the difference.
He looks at you, his eyes narrow a bit, as if this is a lesson that he really didn't have to learn, but he can tell that there's enjoyment maybe dancing in Zafar's eyes a bit. All right. And he continues to sip his wine. What's everyone else doing? Zurga?
Zurga is just drinking tea, and she's looking around for any smoke plumes anywhere. She's not interested in drinking alcohol. It's not her thing.
I will see your smoke plumes, and I will raise you a smoke cloud. As here in the Dragon Spit, the taller individuals don't need to worry about bumping their head on low-hanging lanterns or beams. They duck their head to stay out of the ever-present fog of various forms of smoke that just lingers at the top of this establishment. Despite the chill in the air, there are windows open to help circulate this a bit. It does not work, though, as there's smoke everywhere. So if you're looking for a particular... what are you looking for to smoke? Is it...
something as hallucinogenic as possible, I think. If there's anything like that, that's what she's interested in.
This isn't Waterdeep. This is the Dragon Spit Tavern. Yes, in fact, there's like a little person, almost like if you imagine back in the 20s where they had cigarette men and women that would go around and sell cigarettes. There's somebody walking around with a similar platter that just basically has this laced pipe weed all through it. It's basically depicted by region. So you know that some of the stuff from like Stygia and others, if you want to get loopy, yeah, it's that darker tobacco.
She'll gladly take the Stygian stock, and she'll produce her own pipe. It looks like it's made out of like carved horn. Looks like a writhing corpse. Seems cool to me.
Nice.
And so she will say, Conan, if you want to learn something, you should try this. Wine, beer, shows you nothing.
What do you mean show?
I think you'll have to just try it and see. All this stuff, alcohol, dulls your senses. This opens them.
It opens them?
Yes.
Me?
Yeah.
I have to admit, I like the ways that the alcohol makes me feel. But I trust you, Zerg. I'll try it. So as Conan is going to try some of the, as Dawsey put in chat, the Stygian Doomweed. Conan couldn't, 16-year-old Conan couldn't potentially be among a greater group of teachers, at least in his own mind, as the various addictive and vice, the carousel of progress of alcohol and hallucinogenic drugs is presented to him, as he will absolutely, if Zerga says that he should do this to open his mind, he will try it. And so as Zerga is corrupting the future king of Aquilonia, the very country in which the Dragon Spit resides, what I really want to know. I'm going to leave Kassar for left. What's the mighty Schwa doing?
funny you should ask. The mighty Schwa is at the bar. He is about 4 feet tall and handsome with one eyebrow cocked up inquisitively. He is drinking a cup of wine and sitting in the lap of the lady who bought the bottle for him. To his left and right are 2 other women, and he is having a conversation with the 3 of them, trying to convince all 3 of them to marry him and become his wives.
Okay, so Schwa is, he has the eye of 3 of the local ladies. Let's get a roll in here, because I want to see exactly how well Schwa's going to do with this, as Schwa is good on the battlefield, but now the field of battle has changed. So let us see. I would like Schwa. Yeah, persuade. Which I think Schwa's like super great at, isn't he?
Yeah, that's kind of Schwa's thing.
Okay, I forgot that Schwa's like great at that, but go ahead. Okay, so that's 2 successes right there. I will add another momentum in, as only 1 success was needed for this to be a complete success. So as Schwa, as you are talking and convincing these women, it's almost very similar to, for those of you familiar with Beauty and the Beast, either the animated or live action version, there are those 3, presumably sisters, that are all after, what's his name? Gaston, yeah. So now instead of Gaston, it is the mighty Schwa. And they are twirling chest hair, they are twirling head hair. Everybody is trying to get the eye of Schwa, as you are holding court, Schwa, and the courtesans are just hanging on your every word.
And then I killed a great bear and 2 horses and a mounted lanceman of Gunderland, huh? He fell before the might of Schwa.
Oh! As everybody is just feeling this 100%. They are there. They are living with you as you are telling this story beautifully. And with the regaling of this story, Conan looks up from the table, his eyes glassier and perhaps a bit wider than they were a moment ago, as he looks around. I remember that. Yes, we made the fort out of horse flesh. Am I forgetting that? Who was there? Everyone looks different every week. And he, continues about his way. As Kaser, what are you doing, my friend?
So, if you've been watching Kaser, he's been actually taking his drink and putting it at his feet, and then kind of covering it with his cloak, and then every now and then has to get it refilled. You've never seen him drink from the cup, but it is getting drank. He himself, though, is actually trying to scan the room and is looking for a villain. Just someone he sees other than Pal. Pal is fine. Pal can be bought.
Okay, so you're looking for a what?
Just like some scum of the earth. Just someone who does not look like they should be living. I mean, I'm in the perfect spot, I know.
Yeah, this is a target-rich environment for that. As you look around, you see, it's just, if you're doing a mental checklist, like scum of the earth, scum. Yeah, you're hard-pressed to find somebody that doesn't fit that definition. So yeah, you can easily, are you looking for somebody that's isolated or somebody that's in a group, or? I'm
looking in a bell curve, someone who is very drunk, very alone, and very awful.
Okay, you see a very large man. He is insanely broad, but he's also has this huge bulbous gut that's on him, that's hanging down over his waist, kind of pressing against the tops of his thighs. He is stained with something. It's not beer. It's too dark for that. It's got an odd color to it. Like there's blue mixed in with it. He may be like a printer by trade or something of that nature, but it seems very localized, like he was eating it, and it's right kind of at the top of this. It's also so kind of prominent that the skin that's exposed, the splotchy kind of errant chest hairs, are also stained with blue. And as he's walking around, he has like a horseshoe of hair that's like wispy and kind of spits out to either side. He's just deliberately, you watch him kind of track as he's going through the crowd, and he'll track up and crack somebody, and he'll track up and crack somebody just to body check them. And as soon as these other kind of scum turn around to see who it was, and they see this mountain there, this King Gut, they just kind of back away, as he has at least some type of reputation here for being able to back up such actions.
Because I want to either trick him into going outside into like a back alley, or wait till he goes there on his own, if it looks like he's going that way.
Okay, yeah, I want to see where this goes. So, you realize that this man usually, you would think that if it wasn't so crowded, he probably relieves himself in a corner on the floor. But as it's crowded, he walks around for a minute, and you see him kind of brush out to what you know to be, when you approached, as kind of like the L-shaped alley that runs behind the dragon spit and to the side of the dragon spit.
Okay. Kacer's just gonna be like, 1 second, and excuse himself from the table.
Conan will notice you go. Where are you going?
They're hungry, and then just keeps walking out.
I'm hungry too. I'm really hungry now after I had this, whatever she gave me.
Careful
I'm
with
really,
that one.
I'm really hungry. Terribly hungry.
Or rather, yeah, never mind. Yeah, keep walking.
It would also go to note that since the events of the Way of Teeth, neither Zerga nor Kacer have heard that helpful voice. They are each of them having their own helpful voice. They have not heard it since then. So, Kacer, as you go outside, you see that this guy is kind of leaned up against the wall, like weaving back and forth. Even though he's kind of leaned far enough back where you can tell that the gut is being lifted by one hand as he's relieving himself, and it's a difficult kind of compromise, as most of what he's trying to expel is ending up on him in one form or the other, whether it be the tops of his shoes or his pants. But he's just he's beyond that point of caring, as it just needs to be out, and he's getting it out, just not away.
Mm-hmm. I think as Kacer enters the alley, kind of looks both ways, make sure that there's no one else there.
Yeah, you seem to be alone without the need for a roll. This seems to be relatively it's dark too.
Okay. I think he's gonna walk up and stab him in the throat.
Okay, I will let you know that you have 3 extra momentum to use if you would like to. You may make a strike. You may use one of them to give yourself an extra die. Mm-hmm. So you can actually use all of them and give yourself 2 extra 20-sideds if you would like.
I'm gonna use. Let's go ahead and. Is everyone okay with that? Okay, cool. I'm gonna do it. So I need to make a. I'm not good at melee. I should have not chosen melee.
Well, you have 2 extra 20-sided dice to use, so.
Yeah. So I add 4 dice, right?
You can use, whenever it asks you how many you add, just add 2, and it'll already give your base 2 for you. So that'll give you 4 total.
Okay, cool. So, yeah. I got a 3.
Nice, nice, nice. And so you walk up and you drive your... How do you do it? Because you're going to kill this man who's... just as he's got the shaking out the last couple drops, you hear him... as you do whatever it is you're going to do to him.
Just... I don't think he says anything. I think he just, like, walks up, as he's turning around, just jabs him in the throat with the knife.
Okay, so as it comes in from behind and kind of moves aside his Adam's apple for the point to pop out, for a minute, he's so intoxicated, he doesn't quite understand what happened to him as he's... and then blood begins to pour down the front, causing the blue stain to become purple with the introduction of the red of his blood as it spills down, staining him further for one last go-around of ruining his laundry. And the man who was already pretty close to the wall slides down and comes to rest in his own blood and piss.
And then I think he just kind of, like, turns away, and you can hear howls as the area gets kind of even darker. And then you can hear the munching sounds.
The padding of quiet feet against cobblestones. Yeah. And an occasional, like... And... So do you go back inside?
Go back inside.
Back inside you go.
Sit down. He looks a little happier. Maybe drinks a little bit himself.
About 5 to 10 minutes later, Conan looks over and goes, "Was it good? Is there... I'm hungry. I'm so hungry."
It's the most pestilent thing I've ever eaten.
What? Do you leave some? Is it...
Pestilent, meaning that it was very bad.
Oh, do you have any? I mean, I'm really hungry.
I doubt they left anything.
Oh.
Zerga produces a powder. She says, "Conan, don't have to worry about that here. Just snort. It goes up your nose. Or you can like here. It's up here.
What is it? It's like salt?
Makes you less hungry. Makes you more aware. It's very helpful."
Conan's eyes begin to narrow, and for a moment he looks between Zerga, Kaser, and then he looks over at Zafar as if for confirmation on all of this. As these are like the liquid peddlers and like dope fiends that he has become accustomed to at this portion of his life, as everyone's always giving him a vial or something to snort, but it's almost like he needs to have a majority vote here as he looks over at Zafar.
It's not what you do in your country.
Do you recognize what she's trying to give him?
I don't know. Let's see. I think if anybody would, it would be Zafar. But
make me an alchemy roll.
Yeah, dude, give me an alchemy or a lore, because even lore might be able to give you some. You've seen it used before, or you've heard about it, or.
Yeah, I'll do alchemy.
Yeah, you know what it is.
It's a 13.
Yeah, you got it. So with 2 successes, I will give you a momentum back.
What Conan has consumed so far, in addition to this, what would happen?
In your remembrance and your thinking of this, it's not a good idea. You know, as you know, the word speedball hasn't been invented quite yet, but you're thinking that right? You're thinking that the boy probably doesn't need to do. Listen, I know this group, and I would say he doesn't need to do it at all, but I'm going to say all in one night, since you people.
Pow
So-
returns to the table.
Hey, Conan, what now? Do it tomorrow. It's going to be much better tomorrow.
And
Oh.
Pow grabs him. Conan, you only live once, buddy. And he goes, you got some of that, Zerga?
Sure. It's just it's what you do, so you don't have to get interrupted by these, you know, these mundane needs. Eating, drinking, sleeping.
Jesus, okay.
You guys gonna have
Listen,
this person in your life when you're 16?
Right. Time out for a second, everybody. I know the suspension of disbelief, but when you go into something and you think this group that I've put together for this week's episode, they're awful, and then you really didn't know what that definition was. Okay,
it's gonna get
time
much
back
worse.
in. Right. Okay, so we're gonna say that as we kind of speed up the night, the gambling and the drinking and the carousing and the charm, the schwa is swinging across the entire place. We're gonna get you guys to an area where Zafar, you're the one that probably isn't doing nearly as much consuming, as it seems that you are a bit more refined. So I'm gonna leave this decision up to you. As a just from experience, that this is the point in the night where things either they don't get better from this point on. The drinking either becomes too much, or there's a fight, or someone gets stabbed, and Conan is basically asleep at the table. His shoulders are and he's completely out. It's not that late though. It's probably 8:30, 9 o'clock. However, you guys have been in here about 12 hours, so
Right.
We started at breakfast.
right. There's still some like breakfast plates around that have just been never really truly cleaned up.
So Conan, we have a busy day tomorrow. I need to teach you all about how to make money with your craft, and you need to be awake for that, and you shouldn't really drink anymore, and so let's head up to our rooms, shall we, so we get refreshed in the morning.
And then we will also teach you how to make pancakes.
Okay. I will say this: you guys did not stay at the dragon spit, so
Oh, wait.
By the time Conan goes out, what we'll do is so everybody else can finish whatever hellacious debauchery they want to do. We're going to say that Zafar and Conan leave like an hour before everyone else or something of that nature. So
12.
any gambling can be finished. However, what we're going to do now, though, is we're going to cut out to the outside as the snow is blowing a bit. It's cold. Conan seems warm enough, but you can tell that there's like goose flesh over him as he's walking. The good thing is the cold air kind of brings him around Zafar as you two are heading back towards where your rooms are. And as you're traveling the short distance, you realize that there is a barker that is kind of addressing and bringing people in, and Zafar, your ears would kind of pick this out of a crowd, as this is something that from your own past has come into play. And as Conan is a bit taller than you, even at 16, he comes around the corner and reveals the source of this barking, and his eyes go wide, and he looks down at you, and he looks back up, and he just raises one big kind of meaty finger, and it says, "The Amazing Zafar," on the sign.
What? What is this?
Did you have a show planned?
I am
What's that?
sort of make my way through the crowd.
Yeah, there is a crowd there, and you can see that it's almost like a tent and a stage, as there is a performance type of aspect brought into this. It is decorated in the style of Zamora. So it's like a Zamorian type of style with like the long kind of flowing and wrapped curtains as they kind of drape in the middle and create almost like a whimsical effect to kind of promote this type of sales pitch. And as you guys walk up, you see that there are planted large signs that are they're decorated with language that is, the writing is in numerous languages, and it's very flowery, as it basically says, cures for all the common ailments and more rarer maladies. Suffer no more. And as you go forward, it's just pictures of bottles and powders and kind of cartoon representations of like a bowed man that's walking into a cartoon representation of this tent and then walking out, and he looks young and radiating kind of almost like a Fallout type of style of cartoon iconography. But you see everybody kind of waiting in there. How did you hear that? Could cure this on my elbow. And they're all kind of lining up to get whatever it is that the amazing Zafar is selling.
I'm going to watch for a while.
Okay.
And really, have a good look at what this person is doing and what they look like.
Okay, so as you get forward, you guys are able to get probably like in the middle, maybe like 6 or 7 rows back, or 6 or 7 people deep, as it's kind of, amorphous, rolls a bit with the crowd. After a bit, a roll of fireworks go off, and you see like the as they come down, and out pops somebody that has a passing resemblance to you, in so that they have a beard that's not cut the same way, nor is the hair of the beard the exact color, or, it's a little too curly where yours is straight, or a little too straight where yours is curly. The turban is a different color. He is noticeably smaller. But as he pops out, everybody cheers, oh! And he walks forward and begins to, now who among you suffers from a malady that the amazing Zafar will be able to help you with? And you see several hands go up in the audience, and you see him kind of look around and, you there! And you see a boy that seems to have maybe late teens, early 20s, a boy that seems to have some type of deformity in the joint of his right shoulder. Oh, yes, sir.
Can I tell if that is real or if he's faking?
Yeah, go ahead and make an observation roll for me whenever he's going forward. And so as he goes up, he comes before the amazing Zafar, and he says, boy, how long have you been this way? My whole life, sir. Here, take this. I have no money, sir. You don't need money with the amazing Zafar. I, of course, will take it to promote the kindness, but someone in the last town gave me extra. And so this is the benevolence of a prior Aquilonian. And he takes it and rubs it on the boy's shoulder. And lo and behold, Zafar, you are able to see that this is fixed with your observation roll. And you're also able to see it's complete and utter bullshit, as this kid was never hurt.
Actually.
Yeah, I know. You got a success, but you also got a complication. Yeah. And the complication is this. Just as the crowd kind of swells, it dims just at that moment that everybody fears when they're trying to whisper to somebody in a crowd. And just as it swells, Conan turns to say something to you, and it drops, and Conan goes, but you're the amazing Zafar. And it's loud enough that you see the guy on the stage turn and look and see not his doppelganger in the crowd, but someone that looks awful similar.
This man is an imposter. This is all fake. Just look at the shoulder. It's painted on. It's not even real.
Who are you? What is?
I am the amazing Zafar.
The Zafar on the stage. Sincerest form of flattery. I am no impostor, sir. I have the tent to prove it.
Tell me, who was your master? Who told you alchemy?
Why, Balthazar the Wise.
Interesting.
It is at that time that you hear several riders approach. And Conan turns and he goes, ugh, I hate these guys. And you turn around and see 5 members of the White Company show up. And one of them swings a leg over the saddle and drops to the ground. And the crowd splits in front of them, because here in Aquilonia, the White Company is known to be very aggressive and very good. And as they come forward, they brush right past you and Conan. As Conan kind of steps almost defensively in front of you, Zafar, his hand resting on his kind of tarnished sword that bears a lot of heavy scorch marks. It is the sword of one of his prior teachers that he keeps as well as you can whenever it was recovered from a wildfire. But as he watches them past, the leader of the White Company comes forward and says, "The amazing Zafar, you're coming with us."
And they're addressing the guy on the stage.
They're addressing the guy on the stage,
Well,
yes.
Okay.
And Conan slowly turns and looks over his shoulder at you, and you feel him pushing into you as he is starting to try to like herd you back and away from this area.
Yeah, we'll sort of move to the side.
Right. And as soon as the boy steps in front of you, you see the eyes of the Zafar on stage turn and look and go, "Wait, what? I'm not Zafar! Where is he? Where is he?" And you just see him screaming as Conan kind of turns and lifts his own cloak a bit to hide you behind the shadow of his bulk. You are able to make it back then to your hotel with just this question as to who was this man and what crime was he accused of that the White Company would be sent to fetch him. But as we cut back, we're going to cut back not to an hour later, not to 2 hours later. We're going to cut back to the next morning. Or we believe it to be the next morning, as we have, let's cut to Kaser. You wake up and you're in complete darkness. The last thing you remember was being in the tavern.
Gosh dang it. What was it? Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Trying to like wake himself up from the dream that he thinks he's having.
You do not wake up.
What do you want?
No response.
He'll get up and choose a direction and start walking that way.
Okay, as soon as you put your hand down to your right, you feel a warm body.
Is it wet or sticky, or is it just a warm body?
It's just a warm body without any other type of sensorial accompaniment. However, when you kind of feel about to see if it's wet or sticky, Zerga, you feel somebody rousing you from sleep.
Eight. Get off me. Oh, where are you?
Do I hear any of that?
Yeah, you can hear her. You can identify Zerga's voice. It's still pitch black in here, though.
Who is here? Am I going to have to kill you before I find out?
I certainly hope not.
Oh,
Where am I?
does Zerga have any memory of anything that's happened?
No, Zerga is basically reliving a music video as it was just like, like smoke, 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 snort, snort, snort. And then it was just like you woke up here.
Oh. Oh, I don't know where we are. I need some of that cush lightning. Where are we? She's gonna just wave her arms around a little bit and see if she hits a wall or something.
As you're moving around, you feel somebody else, but this person is very cold.
We all have clothes on, by the way. Are we clothed? Are we okay?
No, neither of
We have
you are
our
wearing
stuff.
clothes.
Shit. Oh. Sorry, I think there's somebody dead in here. Not again.
Oh, where?
To my left. My left.
Reach over.
Yeah. Definitely somebody that it feels like somebody that's definitely like rigor mortis up and cold.
Oh.
However, in your search too, you do find your cloak and you find some of your gear. So if you had anything on you that could create light, flint, steel, or if you want to, light something on fire, you probably could do so.
Ooh, I don't think I actually do. Seems
Well, you're
weird.
shit out of luck.
Yeah. Zerga doesn't have anything written down that's like that. She's got acid, but it's not exactly flammable.
Can I try to like stand up and find a wall and see if there's like a window or something to open?
Yeah, absolutely. You can get up. There's nothing binding you. There's no restrictions to your movement. You are able to get up, and as you're searching around, you can feel it's rock, like fitted rock. And as it's hewn though, so it's not like a natural type of rock. And as your fingers are kind of going over it, Zorga, you hear like the telltale sound of a head hitting a glass lamp, like that, boom, boom, boom. And you feel a lantern that has probably either been put out or run out of oil. You obviously can't tell. You could take it down and shake it. You could do something like that, but
Can I like shake it, listen, see if there's any oil left?
yeah, it sounds like it's got a good bit, probably like a third left.
Feel around, see if there's any flint nearby.
Yeah, what you'll do is most likely or how they had this back in the day was that you would have a hanging mechanism where you'd put the lantern, and then also hanging from that strut would be a striker of flint, something to quickly light it. There would usually be like brands around. So we'll say that within a couple moments, Zerga, you see sparks, and like a reed catch, and Kaser, you're able to kind of open the hood and put the light in on the wick as it glows, and you kind of adjust it as the area around you is revealed. Zerga, as you're still sitting or around the floor where you had originally woken up, you are the first to see both, or you're the closest to the two bodies that are there. Neither of you recognize these bodies. They, however, have been hollowed out, as it looks as whatever was inside them, in their guts, in their stomachs, and the abdominal cavity, has been kind of scooped out, and there is a very unorganized pile in the corner where it has been thrown. And as you're looking at that, both of them are just lying there in state, and there appear to also be words written in the wall, but you can't see what they are without the light being brought closer.
Oh, Kessar, what did you do?
What did you do? Did you give me something again?
You asked me not to. Why would I do that?
Because you were on something? I don't know.
That's a fair point, but I don't think. And she'll get all her stuff and she's gonna check her inventory. It's like, no, it's just enough for me. low for Conan.
Okay.
What is this writing?
I don't know.
With the light being brought up too, you both will notice that you are covered in dried blood from the tips of your fingers to about your elbows.
Ugh. Ugh. Oh, this is much worse than when you do this to a goat. This is much worse.
Hmm.
Do you remember these people? Who are they?
I don't remember. Gosh, I don't remember leaving the tavern.
Oh, we need some water. Is there a door here or anything? Or are we just are we stuck?
There is a door that seems to be kind of set almost like a cellar door. It's not flush against the wall. There's some steps that rise up, and then it seems to be angled, like it would open out and up. Almost set at like a 45-degree angle, yeah.
Let's take a moment, collect ourselves.
Yes.
Why would we scoop out the organs of some bodies?
Maybe we wanted something in there.
Is there anything missing from the piles of organs?
I'll leave that to the scholar.
Yeah, if you guys are checking the organs, go ahead and roll me observation checks.
All right. That's the thing I can roll. Okay. That's awareness. A 1?
Yeah.
Or 1 success?
Yeah, almost like as you guys are, and you're sorcerers, so it's like anatomy doesn't really bother you guys that much. But as you're kind of looking through everything and matching up what you know to be, oh, there's 2 of these, there's 1 of these, there's 2 of these, as you're just kind of going, there's like 37 feet of this, and you're kind of just like moving it all around. You each get to the realization almost at the exact same time that you haven't seen a heart yet.
That's what I was afraid of.
Are you hungry? Am I hungry? I wouldn't be anyway. Goodness.
You guys don't feel real hungry.
Is there any blood on our mouths or anything?
A little bit.
Oh. It's a rather unusual night. Let's see what this writing is. Oh.
Bring the lantern closer.
As you both get closer, you see written in 2 very different hands and in a language really that's only understood by people that can truly see or truly have the sight of sorcery. But each of you see these different hands and you hear the different voices of your respective travelers as it says, "Ah, there. Now I can talk again." And we'll cut away from you all as we are going to go to Pal. Pal, you and Schwa wake up at the exact same moment, almost as if someone has thrown water on both of you. No one has, but the effect is the same. As Schwa, you sit straight up, Pal, you sit straight up, and you turn and regard one another. And in regarding your companion of a couple years now, you also take in the setting that you're currently in. You appear to be in some type of chapel, temple. You are arrayed in funeral linens. There's a bowl. You each appear to have been anointed with oils. There are holy symbols drawn on both of your foreheads, and none of your belongings are anywhere to be seen, with the exception of Schwa's last ruby, which, in whatever fixture it's currently in, or if it's by itself, was rested against Schwa's throat. It kind of clatters when it goes down. And thank you very much, everybody, for stopping by for a little Conan Age Undreamed Of. We appreciate it. We are just having 2 people wake up after a night of drinking, and they appear to be in a Age Undreamed Of mortuary. So, Pal and Schwa, as you look around, you are both experienced men, as you have probably identified comrades in a place like this before. This is, in fact, a chamber where they prepare the dead, and you both seem to have been prepared.
Oh, this is a goddamn first.
Pal, what did you do? Where did you put my wives? I was just about to marry them.
You little bastard. Jesus Christ, what did we do? Or not Jesus, whoever God I would develop. Oh. Observation check. He's going to look around for, is he clothed is he clothed, or is he,
No, you guys are both naked. You have like funeral linens arrayed around you, and when you moved up, it's almost like you guys have been sheeted and bagged. If you were in a modern day morgue, the next step was either burning you or putting you under the dirt.
I got to stop hanging around these people, man. Oh, I got to get away from them. And he'll do an observation check to see what's going on.
Sure.
2 successes.
Okay, so as you look around, you don't see anything else, but I mean, there's no, it's an absolute certainty. There are high windows in this place, and you can see where the daylight's kind of coming in a bit. It's definitely some sort of religious structure, as even in this place of preparation, there is iconography everywhere. And Ozzy, you're right, it would be like Mitra, it would be someone like of that nature. But this is more of like a multi-deity type of place, like a polydeity. It could accompany, it's not just specifically like Crom or specifically any of the other gods. It's just a place, a holy place. And you're both lying there. There is an empty slab to your right, 2 over from Schwa. But other than that, you guys are decked out to be put down.
We got to get the hell out of here.
You are telling me it is a cold night in Tarantia, and I have no clothes no more.
Why do you always state the obvious? God damn.
This time,
Jesus.
take them off. I promise you, I would never have taken off my beautiful bone necklace. And where is my spear?
Are you asking this rhetorically, or are you asking me right now? Really?
Did you hide my spear? Is this a prank that you did this?
Yes,
I've done things like this before, pal. You have an evil heart.
This was a good one, right? Ha ha.
Right. Everyone come out now. It's very funny. It's Schwa's birthday.
It's like Schwa.
Okay,
He's like, you little fucker, shut up.
Here, so
And he's trying, bring it down, man. He's trying to listen. This is not a joke. I don't know what the hell's going on here, but I'm going to kill whoever the fuck did it.
And just when you say that, you hear the sound of a metal tray or bowl being dropped as it gets that boom, as somebody looks over from the doorway, and you see a younger woman dressed in like an acolyte's robes, as her eyes are wide, and you can just see her kind of taking in breath to get ready to scream.
Oh, nice. But Pal's on her. He's off the slab and at her.
Okay, so with the slapping of bare feet and the scurry of a bare ass, Pal, you jump over there. What I want you to do, though, is roll me a...
Acrobatics?
Yeah, give me an acrobatics to see if you can get there. Just one success.
I have agility as well, so if I roll badly, I'm going to re-roll that one.
Yeah, you're able to, you leap off it, and Schwa, you watch as you're like in mid-bitch about this joke. Pal just jumps off of the funeral slab and lands in front of this girl as whatever sound she was going to make catches in her throat as her wide eyes, they're blue and they just get wider and wider with more and more white as she's staring there and just looking at you, not making a sound.
You have exactly 1 second to tell me how the fuck I ended up here, or I'm going to snap your neck. Talk!
You dead.
Where are my things? Where are my clothes?
In the wheelbarrow. And she points to a direction that you have no idea, but is out of this room.
How many people are here?
Just me right now.
Take me to the Schwa.
Yeah?
Our shit's in a wheelbarrow.
In a wheelbarrow?
Yes, she said we were fucking dead. Can you not hear her?
Schwa comes over and approaches and says, Lady, you take us to our wheelbarrow clothes right now.
When did we come in here, girl?
Just a few hours ago.
And who brought you? Who brought me? You? Who brought us?
You were here when I came at dawn.
No note, no anything.
Just your belongings.
And where the hell are we?
In Tarantia, in the temple. You realize
Clothes.
she's not breathing.
He goes,
she's not
now,
breathing.
Clothes, take me to the clothes. Hal's very impatient.
You can tell that her legs are like rubber bands. Like she is barely able to stand as her legs are like giving out. If she takes a step, she's going down. But she's trying to like follow and respect your wishes.
So Schwa walks up to her and slaps on the charm in his 4-foot naked self. All of a sudden, he's like on her side of things. And he's like, pal, this is a woman. You have to treat them a certain way. Do not be afraid, my friend here. Just take us to our belongings and we will send you back on our way. For you see, we are not dead. We are not ghosts. We are your friends. You help us now.
You should be very afraid. Take me to my clothes.
You weren't breathing. None of you were breathing. And she starts to move away, but she is using Schwa, both his emotional and debating support, as she kind of leans on. She's about 5 feet herself, but she, her elbow on Schwa's shoulder as the two of you kind of go out into a larger area of worship. There are pews and kneelers and carpets set up for various ways and manners in which to meditate and pray. And as you kind of go out there by the larger door, which you think could probably, it could take about 4 or 5 people walking shoulder to shoulder through. It's like an archway. There is a wheelbarrow sitting there, and from this distance, you guys, there's my boots, there's my cloak, there's my...
Yeah, our pal's definitely he's gonna put his clothes on. His weapons are there too?
Yeah, everything's there. Oh no.
Again, what city are we in?
Sorry about that. I missed that. My internet connection is unstable, apparently.
Yeah, so's mine.
Oh, Schwa is just asking the girl where we are. What city is this? Are we still in Tarantia?
Yeah, yes. And she kind of beckons to the archway, and you can see parts of the city that you remember.
Who is in charge here, lady? Who brought us here?
She doesn't know. She already said this.
Well, don't yell at me because you got us killed and then brought back to life in here without our clothes on.
He looks at her, he says, I'm going to do you a favor. Because if this little fucker wasn't here, you'd be dead. Where's a room that you can lock yourself in and give me the key? Talk.
She goes over, and you see that there's sort of like an alcove that has a small compartment in it. You believe that with certain places you can go to hear like a confession or some type of sin forgiveness, reconciliation type of place. And she goes into one of those little cubicles, and it's more of like a half door and a curtain, but she like closes it and like pulls the curtain. You can tell that she is terrified, and this is the best that she could come up with.
Is there a way to lock her in to get her out of there? Like just to keep, so she can't go tell anybody that we're getting the hell out of here and we've been here.
There's no way to lock it. You could probably push something up against it, but again, it's like a curtain. So it's almost like a Dutch door with a curtain. So
help me push something in here so we can get the hell out of here, so she won't tell nobody.
You mean to protect her? Yes.
No, I mean to protect her from me. Let's get this over here and put this in here, because if I don't, I'm going to kill her. And I don't feel like hearing you cry for the next 3 months.
Okay, pal.
Okay, pal.
Okay, so you guys are able to kind of like push like several of the chairs and stack them up, and like this, almost like the zombies are coming, get whatever we can get to keep people from getting out of this area, and which is kind of apropos since you guys are zombies. But yeah, you were able to kind of stack it there, and you don't hear anything. You know she's still in there. You hear nothing, though.
You just go to sleep for a while.
Nothing. You hear nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, you have the city to you. We're going to cut back to the pit of the carved out people as Zerga and Kaser have just heard that, now I can talk again. And as the two of you are sitting there, you see flashes of the city that you're in, of a direction and a road, of a path into the mountains, and of a city seated atop